In this video, I will discuss about something about developing face, about the development of face and anatomy of nose. First of all, the facial development takes place between 4 to 8 weeks of intrauterine life. And face develops from 5 facial swellings that surrounds the primitive mouth by the end of 4th week. So here you can see in this diagram, you can see there is a frontonasal prominence, the nasal placode, two nasal placode on the two sides, and this is frontonasal prominence, and there are two maxillary prominences on both the sides, and there is two mandibular arc. So from these facial swellings the face will develop. These are the swellings, 5 swellings from which the face will develop, and by the day 37th the face is still developing. Now the prominences will form the lateral nasal prominence, then medial nasal prominence and maxillary prominence, and here you can see a groove which is called as nasolacrimal groove. This black portion is called as nasolacrimal groove. This nasolacrimal groove will later form the nasolacrimal duct. Now let us come to the anatomy of external nose. The external nose usually is formed by osteolaginous and cartilaginous framework, which means the bones and some cartilages are forming the external nose. Here you can see in the diagram there is a there is a nasal bone here, and this is the frontal process of maxilla. These are the bones which are helping in formation of the nose, and the cartilage, there are 4 types of cartilages which are forming the nose. Here it is the upper lateral cartilage, and the lower lateral cartilages. The lower lateral cartilages are also called as alar cartilage. Then lesser alar cartilage and septal cartilage. So these are the 4 types of cartilages which are forming the external nose. Here the upper lateral cartilages extends from the point where the nasal bone ends, and it attaches in the below part with the alar cartilage, and in the midline there is a septal cartilage. Now if we see from inside of the nose, the lower lateral cartilages, the lower part of the upper lateral cartilages can be seen as limen vestibuli, can be seen from inside of the nose, and the lower part of the lateral cartilages of the upper lateral cartilages can be seen from inside of the nose, and that is called as limen vestibuli. Here you can see the description of upper lateral cartilage. The cartilaginous part, as I have already described, that the cartilaginous part consists of upper lateral cartilages, the lower lateral cartilages which are also called as alar cartilages, the septal cartilages, and the lesser alar cartilages. Here you can see the lesser alar cartilages. So let us now discuss about the upper lateral cartilages. The upper lateral cartilages extend from the undersurface of the nasal bones. Here you can see the upper lateral cartilages extend from the undersurfaces of the nasal bones above to the alar cartilages below. They fuse with each other and with the upper border of the septal cartilages in the midline anteriorly. The lower free edge of the, as I have already described about the limen vestibuli, that if we see intranasally from inside of the nose, the lower free edge of the upper lateral cartilage is seen intranasally as limen vestibuli or nasal valve on each side. So here in this diagram you can see, if we see intranasally from the lower part, we can see the lower part of the upper lateral cartilages as the limen vestibuli or nasal valve on each side. Now come to the lower lateral cartilages. The lower lateral cartilages are also called as alar cartilages. So these alar cartilages, there are two alar cartilage. Each alar cartilage is U-shaped. It has a lateral crus which forms the ala and a medial crus which runs in the columella. Lateral crus overlaps lower edge of upper lateral cartilage on each side. Here you can see in this diagram, here the alar cartilages having the lateral crus and the medial crus. The alar cartilage have a lateral crus and a medial crus. Now coming to the lesser alar, or which are also called as sesamoid cartilage. The lesser alar, which are also called as sesamoid cartilages. 2 or more in number. There are more than 2. There can be more than 2 in number, and they lie above and lateral to alar cartilages. These lesser alar cartilages lie above and lateral to the alar cartilages. Here in this diagram you can see these lesser alar cartilages, they lie lateral to or above to the alar cartilage. This is alar cartilage and this is lesser alar cartilage. So lesser alar cartilage lies above and lateral to the alar cartilage. This is alar cartilage, this is upper lateral cartilage. Alar cartilage is also called as lower lateral cartilage, and just lateral to and above the alar cartilage there is lesser alar cartilage. So now the various cartilages are connected with one another and with the adjoining bones by perichondrium and periosteum. Most of the free margin of nostril is formed of fibrofatty tissue and not the alar cartilage. So most of the free margin of nostril is formed of fibrofatty tissue and not the alar cartilage. Here you can see in this diagram, most of the free margin is formed by fibrofatty tissue. This yellow part is the fibrofatty tissue. Most of the free margin is formed by fibrofatty tissue and not by the alar cartilage. In the basal view of the nose we can see. Now coming to the septal cartilage, the last type of cartilage. So there are 4 cartilaginous framework. The septal cartilage, its antero-superior border runs from under the nasal bones to the nasal tip. It supports